but it's been too long. I just wanted to touch on Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. And I'm not sure if this is backstage politics, but I feel like Triple H is dropping the ball. Jade Cargill loses to Rhea Ripley again at Clash in Italy. And of course, this time it was with help from Charlotte Flair. So it's looked like they're going to start a feud between those three. We'll continue the feud between those three, which is Charlotte Flair, EO, Rhea Ripley, and Jade Cargill's faction that features Michin and B-Fab. Now, I like the fact that Triple H did something with Michin and B-Fab because they were just wasting away. They weren't even mid card. They were low card or not even on TV, and they needed to do something with them. And being that Bianca Belair's gone, Naomi's gone, you needed, and they were in desperate need of a heel. Even though Bianca's not a heel, but the roster's starting to thin, and the best way to launch a new heel is a big faction, is a new faction, and you take people that aren't being utilized properly or not utilized at all on the roster, and you throw them in there. Austin Theory. I can't put that on Logan Paul, but yeah. And so that was a good move in itself, but putting the belt on Rhea Ripley after Jade has it was a huge mistake. You think they buried Jacob Fatu Low? Low, this is like my first time doing a live intro ever. But you think they buried Jacob? I don't know. I don't like the idea of a new reiteration of the bloodline. I think it was time for something new. We gonna see. Maybe Jacob turns full heel tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But as far as Jade and Rhea Ripley go, I think it was a mistake putting the belt on Rhea. The money has always been in the chase. I'm going to say that again. The money has always been in the chase. Is the babyface chasing the heel. The babyface getting cheated and robbed over and over and over again and finally crossing over the threshold and beating the heel. That's where the money is. Always wondering, is this the time? But the mistake that the WWE's made is they've been real babyface heavy. Where Cody, whoever's loved Cody, whether it's Rhea, always getting over, no matter what the odds, always getting over after they won the belt initially. And so I think it's just them being short-sighted. Yeah, Cody needs to turn heel. It's whack. It's whack. It's uninteresting. They just put Cody in feud after feud after feud, and they all seem the same. They all like bleeding over into each other. It's like I can't tell the difference between one feud and another. I just can't. It's time for Cody to turn heel. It's time for Cody to be the corporate champion. But they need to put the strap back on Jade, and they need to have Rhea chasing it. They need to make that faction more powerful. They need to make that faction more vicious. The best factions were so hard to beat. And now you just have everybody getting over on factions now. Now, I don't have the Bloodline as one of the greatest factions ever. The Bloodline's not my top 5. They're not. I would say the number 1 faction of all time is clearly NWO. Number 2, 4 Horsemen. Number 3, DX. Number 4, Shield. Number 5. Yo, I can't tag you in low. I need to start the live like that, and I'm not staying on long. But I'm going to do a live tomorrow, and then we can do that one together. You said the Bloodline is in the top 5? I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe 5 is Evolution. Maybe I got the Shield. The Shield was so dominant, yo. The Shield was so dominant, and they just spawned superstars. So that's why I give it to them. But I think that they need to put over Jade's. I think they need to put over Jade's faction. I think that they need to become more vicious. I think they need to start tearing people off the frame because otherwise it's not going to work. The WWE right now is devoid of top heels. They have to build their heels up. They're devoid of top heels. And whether it's injury or whether it's, bad writing or whatnot. The best heel, of course, in the women's division, clearly, is Liv Morgan. The Becky shit is ass. The Becky has a heel, just hasn't gotten over. It just feels inauthentic. It just feels rushed. It just feels out of place. It just doesn't sit right. Seth, with the vision, it was gaining some steam, but then Seth gets hurt like Seth always does. And him being the top guy in the faction and can't even be on TV. Like, it's one thing if he has an injury where he can still be on TV. It's another thing where you gotta go off completely. Now, it was kind of like with Edge in the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day has so much potential with Edge, but then afterwards it just became like, oh yeah, the Wyatt family. The original iteration of the Wyatt family would probably be in my top 5 with Evolution. I like the bloodline, I do, but I wouldn't have him on top 5. I wouldn't have him on top 5. Not the faction. The storyline was good, but the actual faction. The Heart Foundation, yeah. Yeah. Can we all agree that the NWO is the best faction of all time? I don't even think that could be argued. I think NWO, Four Horsemen, and DX, top 3. The NWO being that they changed wrestling. But like the Four Horsemen, I know there were multiple iterations of it, but the reality is the Four Horsemen was they were hard, man. Like, as a kid, you going into it like hoping the babyface will win. But the Horsemen always found a way. I agree, Lo. I agree. Before there became like two different. They they just kept the NWO going too long. And it was NWO 2000 and NWO Black and White, and it was just like, oh my gosh. I liked a lot of the iterations of I liked a lot of iterations of the Horsemen. Of course, the original was best, but I like them all. But that's what they need to do. I think that Rhea Ripley is is using is using her Hoganness to her benefit. I think she's learned the art of backstage politics and she's keeping the strap on her. But I don't think that that's good for the company nor her in the long run. And I think it's a bit short sighted. You need the heel faction to go over in order for the babyface to have a great run. That's has always been where the money is. Always. Always. The NWO went over a whole year before like losing. Like literally. They went over on Page, they went over on Luger, they went over on the Giant. Like the only dude that they didn't get over on is Sting, but he didn't wrestle for that whole year. But they had one match after match. Piper, they had one match after match after match. That's how you build a good heel faction, a good heel stable. Yes, Lo, you're right. Everybody was chasing Ric Flair. Everybody. That's how you build a company. Jade physically is Goldberg-esque. She's Goldberg-esque. She can carry that. She has the bad girl attitude. She has the look. And this would be good for Michin and B-Fab. But you got to let him go over. You got to. You're devaluing her by constantly letting Rhea get over on her. Then she's not the dominant heel anymore. Even the run that Triple H had, even though the titles were changing hands, the McMahon Helmsley or the Helmsley McMahon faction, oh my God. It seemed like every week they were beating somebody, yo. Every week. So hard to beat. Triple H, top 5 heel of all time. You feeling B-Fab low? But she needs a long run of victories, a long run of beating Rhea's ass, jumping her. Look at the Hurt Business. Vince did a good job of building them. But yeah, that's my take, y'all. I ain't gonna stay here too long. They dropping the ball with that. But Rhea got to drop that title, yo. Got to drop that title. Got to. But yo, hit the like and subscribe button. This is my first time back, so I'm gonna be more consistent with it. Wrestling kind of like pissed me off for a little bit, but I'm back.